under international business called as globalization. So we have thus far studied what is international business, what are the modes of entry into international business, etc. Today we'll be studying in this particular chapter in detail about globalization. So the topics we're going to cover under this unit is the meaning, features, stages, production, right? What are the advantages, disadvantages? What are the essentials, conditions? And majorly we'll be focusing on three areas in this chapter: multinational companies, international business, and the transnational company. Can you look at the last line over there in the third point? TNC, that is transnational company. So we'll study the definitions or meanings of individual category, and then we'll also study the differences between MNC, global business, Indian company, as well as transactional. Okay, all the four categories will study the meaning, concept, as well as the differences among them. And then we'll study the organizational transformations and the advantages and disadvantages of multinational companies. So this is the topics to be covered for Unit 3. Let's look at the meaning of globalization. What is it? It is an integration of a country's economy with the world economy, right? Notice that word. It is integration. What do you mean by integrate? To connect, right? To connect or to collaborate. What are we collaborating or connecting over here? One individual economy or a country with what? The entire globe or the entire world economy. We are trying to club these both, our country's economy and the other side, the world economy. When we club these two concepts, it becomes globalization. Now, what is the purpose of integrating these two economies? Is where we can have free flow of goods, services, capital, technology move across a country's border, not just from one country to another country, which is called as international business, but from one country to the entire globe, which is called as globalization. Now, what is the result of this globalization is where a country's financial markets are affected by fluctuations in global market. Now, if it was just international business, right? India is having some kind of trade connections with the country Nepal. So there won't be much of fluctuations in our market no matter what happens in the market of Nepal. But when I'm talking of globalization, in case there's a rise or fall in the stock market, right? When I'm talking about the world economy, right? There's a government fall or there's a leader change or there's any currency fluctuation, whatever happens in the world economy, my country will immediately have the impact. Okay, that's when we can see the results of globalization. We are so integrated with the world that whatever happens in the world economy, we can see the immediate impact in our local financial markets. Let's understand the features of globalization. There are 7 different points for us to discuss: liberalization, free trade, economic activity, liberalization of import export system, privatization, increased collaboration, and economic reforms. These are the 7 different features we'll be discussing. Liberalization. Now, the first point talks about being liberal. Now, when do we hear this word, right? As in a student community or a education, we see that papers were, corrected in a very liberal manner. Have you come across the sentence? That means what? Liberal means easy. Liberal means more easy. There's not much strict or there's not much restrictions or rules and regulations to a particular thing. Now, here we are talking about trade. Here we are talking about economic or world trade. Now, when I'm talking about liberalization, it focuses on lessening or lowering down the trade restrictions. okay, and giving the people or giving the companies or economies the freedom to trade. Okay, being liberal means being free, okay, being able to trade with other countries without much hindrances of the respective governments. Okay, so liberalization, it stands for freedom of the entrepreneurs to establish any industry or trade or business venture within their own countries or abroad. That means each respective country's governments are providing opportunities or opening up their economies to the world so that entrepreneurs or companies can open up business ventures within their home country or across the globe, right? So what are the measures of liberalization? Industrial sector reforms, trade policy reforms, foreign exchange reforms, tax reforms, and financial sector. So we're talking about as a industry as a whole. If you're entering into FMCG, you're entering into pharmaceutical, you're entering into IT sector, right? What are the trade policies in that particular industry, right? And when I'm talking about globalization, you need to also consider the currency reforms, right? Every country has a different currency. So we also need to keep in mind about the currency changes and the tax that the respective governments will impose upon the companies, and the financial sector, which talks about the availability of capital and how you use the capital for the upbringing of the business venture. Second one, free trade. So it stands for free flow of trade relations among all the nations. So definitely, as I mentioned earlier in the chapters, that every country in this globe or the world is dependent on one another, right? No country is self sufficient. Every country has its own strengths and its own weaknesses. So that is why we need to allow free trade. That means free flow of trade in terms of services, in terms of products, in terms of technology, in terms of capital, right? It is important because now if you have a good trade relationship with another country, right, which is called as most favored nation. That way, what does it keep? The trade relation is more established and more professional, and they can have more freedom to trade with one another. So, another feature of globalization, it is important to have free trade. Okay, when we have free trade, it will remove regulatory or any kind of strict rules and regulations will be removed or will be eliminated to enable free flow of trade. Number three, globalization of economic activity. Now, here we are talking about what is an economic activity? The activity of making, purchasing, selling goods or services. So, any activity or transaction that you make in exchange for money is called as economic activity. Let me repeat, any transaction that you incur, right, in exchange for money is called as economic activity. So if you're doing any transaction for the sake of charity, is that an economic activity? No, because you are just freely gifting somebody or freely giving somebody out of service or love, right? But here, when you're talking about trade, we are talking about money. Money is involved. So it can be you're manufacturing a product, you're selling a product, you're distributing goods, you're working as an employee and you receive salary or compensation, right? All these activities is termed as economic activity. Okay, now who governs this? These economic activities are governed by domestic market and also world market. So it stands for the process of integrating the domestic economy with the world economy. Now, what happens if India opens up itself to the world economy, which happened in the year 1991, right? I hope all of you remember 1991 was a year of very important year for the in Indian history, right? So where we talk about the LPG Act was passed, when then the Prime Minister was Manmohan Singh, right? So he enabled or he encouraged the act of LPG to pass. What is LPG? Liberalization, privatization, and globalization. That's when India had a complete economic reform, right? It opened up its economy with the entire world economy. What happened then? The process of integrating domestic economy with the world economy begin to fall in place, right? So when foreign companies or foreign entrepreneurs enter into India, or Indian businesses move out of India, there is what? Integration happening. So our methods of technology change, our process of manufacture change, the process of marketing changes. We are mutually learning from one another, right? From one economy to another, we are learning, right? So year 1991 plays an important role for the Indian economy. So that's why it talks about globalization of economic activity. So economic activity is not just particular to one country or one particular state or a city. It talks about the entire globe. Number 4, liberalization of import export system, right? When one of the important or one of the basic modes of entry into international business, what did we look at in the last unit? Through export. Export was the first mode of entry any entrepreneur would look forward to, right? So globalization is also meaning to say that liberalizing, that means liberalizing the import export system. So if you need to export, what are the procedures you need to follow up back then compared to today? The regulations have been liberalized, much more easier today, and there's more freedom to trade today compared to maybe 5 years back or 10 years back. So that enables us to secure a free flow of goods and services across borders. Number 5, privatization. As I just told, 1991, we are talking about LPG. So the P stands for privatization. So there are entrepreneurs or there are companies that have been established apart or with very less control from the government. Got it? A complete ownership or a majority ownership is owned by the private individuals, right? So what does that mean? It means letting the free flow of industrial trade and economic activity across borders, right? So the state government or the government does not have any ownership. It is the private individuals owning the company and running the company effectively. Now today, if we look at comparing, if you have to really compare, right, the products or services offered by a public company, that is a government owned company, or by a private company, definitely you can see the differences in terms of quality, right, in terms of pricing, in terms of service or after sale service, etc., right? So it is equally important that each country has to let the individuals also have certain privatization. Number 6, increased collaborations. Now here we are talking about collaborating means again integrating, connecting, combining, right? Right? To secure. Why are we collaborating here from one economy to another? What is the purpose of collaborating? So that there is rapid modernization, there is rapid development, there is technological advancement, right? As we mentioned earlier, when economies collaborate with one another, we mutually learn from one another, right? Otherwise we're going to sit with our old techniques and methods and processes. But when we open up our economy, we tend to secure the rapid modernization. Today, everything that we see, from 2G to 5G that we are experiencing, right? It is all because of globalization. It is because we are willing to learn from the other economies and also to adapt to the upcoming technologies. The last one, economic reforms, encouraging fiscal and financial reforms with a view to give strength to free world trade, free enterprise, and market forces. Now, as I told, economic reform. One of the greatest reform that happened in India was in the year 1991. So when I talk about fiscal reform, fiscal talks about the government income and expenditure, right? Fiscal policy we talk about, right? It focuses on government incomes and expenditure, the basic cash inflow and outflow from the government, okay? And the financial reforms is where the money is being circulated, or how the money is being collected, or how it is put to the development of a particular country or a nation. Now, when does this free flow, when does this money or money flow get more faster and rapid? It is when you have a global market, not just a local market or a national market, but a world market or a global market, right? So, what is the purpose? To give strength to free world trade or market forces. Clear? So these are the 7 different features of globalization.